your home here at HSN. Adam is coming up next, speaking of home, with his open house. He'll have an encore presentation of that today's special in just a moment. But I am going to defer to the Grand Master, the Obi-Wan of HSN, Lou Caputo, who answered his phone, maybe against his better judgment. They added him to my show. And Lou, I'm actually buying that alien tape that you just had on the air. But you know, I am no stranger to Bell & Howell, and I'm certainly no stranger to the Pest Repellers. I mean, you and I, we have sold, I mean, probably just even the two of us, I know tens of thousands in various and different configurations. But walk me through this a little bit, because it's a 2-pack. Now, this is the Ultrasonic Electromagnetic.
Yes.
And see, I'm doing the Ron Burgundy thing with the question mark at the end. Ultrasonic Electromagnetic, San Diego? San Diego? So what is going on here? Now, certainly I like the convenience. It's got the outlet, and you just plug it in. But Lou, what is the deciding difference? How is this different from what I might have at home other than that outlet, which I love?
Sure. Well, it uses two different technologies at the same time. That's what's so cool about this. I mean, because the traditional ones we sell day in and day out, they have ultrasonic technology built into them. They use ultrasonic sound waves to repel the pests, and it's awesome. They work great. One problem with ultrasonic, though, remember, it bounces off of solid surfaces in the room, so it can't go through walls. So we added electromagnetic to it as well. And the electromagnetic actually uses the wiring in the walls to go through them and repel pests inside your walls as well. Because let's face it, your rooms might be clear, but once in a while you might hear a sound in the walls. Well, this is going to take care of that. These are awesome alone. They're even better when you pair them with our other ultrasonic pest repellers. Just add them onto the sets you already have. And the cool thing is you get one in the set that also has an extra outlet on it. So, you know, Shannon, this is going to be a great add-on, or it's going to be a great first-timer for somebody out there. But I mean, if you think about it, you know, the walls, that's like a super highway to pests. You know what I mean? They can get from room to room back in there. They can go anywhere they want in the house. And traditionally, we don't have a way to get rid of them. But now, thanks to this set of pest repellers, we do.
I think that's genius. And actually, Prince, thank you. You saw that left panel, but I'd love to make that a full graphic, just because I would like to read through it, especially if you're discovering the pest. Oh, it is? Okay. So you know what? I'll read from your screen. Actually, I know it from memory at this point, because no kidding, Lou and I have sold various configurations and different versions of the pest repellers, but it was a big, big deal when Bell & Howell did independent lab testing to help repel mice, rats, ants, spiders, and roaches, okay? Now that's what they tested for, because it's very expensive to do that testing. If you read those customer reviews, yeah, a lot of them read like love letters. Many people mention other things, but those are the ones that Bell & Howell ponied up for the testing for. Lou, I am getting these. In fact, good grief, this whole show, I think, do you know what? I think without exception, everything in this show I've ended up buying. Because shoot, those little critters that I don't want, about the only place they do have to hide in my house is in my walls, because there's so much stuff in my house. And that's just it. We've all had that experience where you hear that scratching in the night. In my neighborhood, they've been doing a lot of construction. There's been a lot of rain. That drives those little critters in for food and shelter. Whether it's upstairs, downstairs, I share a wall in my townhome community with my neighbors. That's why I need this, because I love the original, as you know, especially for the spider thing, which you know I'm deathly allergic to, but I need the kind that actually is going to help repel things in the walls. And according to that is what this new enhanced technology does, right?
It does. It does. And here's what's interesting. So it uses two different technologies that you cannot see or feel. Okay, so you don't know that these are working. Now, the way they let you know is there's two LED lights on these. One is red for electromagnetic, and one is green for the ultrasonic. Now, I'm going to show you even better, though, because I always have my gadgets, okay? So I actually have an ultrasonic leak detector here. And basically, there's a microphone in the front of this that only hears ultrasonic sounds. They use it for gas pipelines. When they rupture, they get a pinhole in them. The gas comes out at such a high speed, it makes an ultrasonic sound wave. Then I've got a device here that actually measures electromagnetic pulses. Now, if I put these two things down here, you're going to see in a couple seconds, there's a little red ball right here on this guy, that bounces every time an ultrasonic sound wave comes out. And if you look at the electromagnetic guy down here, you're going to see those numbers jump up to like 26 and then back down to 0. So you can actually see with these devices that they're putting out sound wave and electromagnetic. Now, the thing is, we can't hear it. We have no idea what that sounds like. But we know that the pests hear it, they feel it, and that's what makes them leave your home. Now, if you're one of the people out there that says, you know what, I got stuff for pests. Let me show you something real quick, okay? You can go out, crack open your wallet, and you can start spending money on stuff for ants, stuff for roaches. You can go buy some stuff for rats and mice. But guess what? You can't use the ant stuff for the roaches. You can't use the roach stuff for the ants. You can't use either one of these for the mice and rats. Okay, so you've got to buy all this stuff separately. When it wears off, you got to go replace it. When you run out of it, you got to go buy more. So you're spending a ton of money on all this stuff, and there's nothing out here at all for spiders. But install the Bell & Howell Pest Repellers. You got your ants covered, you got your roaches covered, you got your rats and mice covered, and the dreaded spiders, both venomous and non-venomous. Get rid of those daddy long legs and make them go somewhere else. But that's the great thing, Shannon, is you save so much money. I used to pay a guy $45 a month to come out to my house, walk around, and just spray poison around it. I still got a rat in my garage, because guess what? He figured out a way to get around it. He dropped from a tree and went into my attic, right into my garage, ate through my air conditioning lines, cost me a ton of money. They can come through the foundation in your home. They can come up your pipes. I mean, there's so many ways, Shannon. That's why you need that security indoors, or like in your situation, you're surrounded by people. You've got to have a way in your house to get rid of them.
You absolutely do. Now, what's so interesting, no kidding, I actually went back and looked at my shopping cart before I placed the order. I have quite literally ordered everything that we've had in this hour, because I have the original Pest Repellers and I'm a big, big fan, but truth in advertising, I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of HSN stuff in my house. And it's nice that this uses that wiring in your walls to keep those critters at bay. And remember, the independent lab evidence to help repel the mice, the rats, the roaches, the spiders, and the ants. Now, that's just what Bell & Howell paid for. Read those reviews. A lot of people say that it helps with other things as well, but that's what the independent lab testing, what they tested for, because it's expensive to do. But this is that next level up in terms of protection. And you still just plug it in. That's all you do. Now remember, it is a 2-pack. On one of these, you do get that outlet on the side, which is nice. I already know where I'm putting that one. That one's going in the kitchen, because I'm plugging everything, you know, all over the place. That second one, I'm putting in that bathroom, because Lou, that's just it. Whether it is the rain, the drain, you know, in the walls, around the wiring, nothing really keeps those critters out. They don't care if there's social distancing or not. They're gonna come and find you. They don't matter the season or the weather. And doggone it, these work, don't they?
They do. No, they do. I'll tell you what, we have saved a ton of money buying pesticides, you know, hiring people to come out and walk around the house and do all that stuff. They just work. And I've even noticed on occasion where I've forgotten to put one in a room. Okay, I forgot to put one in a laundry room. My wife Kelly could tell you this story. And I found spiders in there. And I was like, what is going on here? And then I realized I never put one in there. And that's important. You want one in every room in the house, okay? Now these guys, the electromagnetic side, it'll go through the entire floor of your house. So that's what's really cool about those. You know, the other thing, Shannon, I always ask people is I go, let me ask you a question, okay? Which one of these things says pest problem to you? You walk in somebody's house and you see the mousetrap and you see this guy. Which one says they got a pest problem? Because this one tells me they're being proactive. This right here, this is reactive. You waited a little too long to get on your pest problem. Get the Bell & Howell Pest Repellers in there, and you're gonna be taken care of 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365, all the way around the year, even if you're not there all the time.
Well, and I think that's a, you know, case in point, because my grandmother's farm, you know, we still have my grandmother's farm, but nobody lives there, but except the little mice. And, you know, I know my dad and my brothers, they struggle with that. So maybe you do have a storage locker. Maybe you do have that second home. Maybe you've got that cabin. There's somebody who's not there all the time, but you want to make sure that somebody's not camping out in your cabin when you're not there. And Lou, you make an excellent point, though, whether it's some of the alternatives that are expensive and could be deadly to creatures other than what they were intended for. You know, I've told you my story about that poor dog that went to my parents' farm and somebody had left out rat poison and the dog did pass. But then you're also dealing with a carcass, whether it's the trap or something dying in the walls. This is unobtrusive. You just plug it in. Now, I am going to play devil's advocate. You know, one of the questions we get online is, how long do they last? Do I have to replace something?
People always ask me that question.
They do.
Here's the problem with that question. I've got a set that I've had for almost a decade now that are still working. They just keep going. So when mine set dies, I will let you know.
Yeah, please. But you know what? I think it's a good case in point, because we think auto ship, we think a filter, we think a replacement, we think the light. You set it and you forget it, you plug it in. It is that simple. So remember, you get the set of 2. One of them does have that additional plug, so you're not giving up the outlet. And Lou, I gotta thank you. Well, it's a good thing things are on FlexPay this hour, because like I said, I've just been shopping like crazy. I love these. Now, did I also hear you're also coming back with Adam later on tonight as well?
Yeah, I am. And so is my wife, Kelly, in the control room.
What have I told you? Don't answer the phone.
I know.
Learn from the master, Obi-Wan. I've tried to school you, but I love you. I love that. It'll be great. Thank you for joining us, Lou. All right, I'll be back in my home show on Friday at 7. Speaking of which, Adam's up next. Stay tuned.